Character design. Easily one of the most magical and exciting processes of creating a story. But how do you know whether or not your design will live up to the audience's expectations? Does something like this work? Or is this any better? Let's give your design the ultimate test.
3, 2, 1, go!
The first thing a good design needs is a good silhouette. Some of the most popular characters we see in movies or television shows have distinct silhouettes. Heck, I'm willing to bet that most of you can recognize all of these characters just based on the outline of their bodies.
Who's that Pokemon?
It's Pikachu!
It's Clefairy!
Fuck!
When designing your character, using things like exaggeration or basic shapes, such as circles, squares, and triangles, is going to help in forming a stronger silhouette. Also, having a pose where you can see the whole body will help distinguish who your character is. I mean, just look at the difference between this and this. Good stuff, right? Now, sometimes you will have characters who will look more realistic, such as this guy. So, how in the world are you supposed to make him easily identifiable in a crowd? You could give him objects like a weapon, costumes and accessories that are shaped uniquely, or you can mess around with their hair and get something that really stands out. The choice is up to you, but the key here is to have a distinct shape and a good pose for your character so that they can easily be identified when compared to other characters. The next thing a good character design must have is good colors. So when it comes to colors, the thing is, they're very arbitrary. So there is no tried or true system for picking out the perfect colors for your character. But there are a ton of suggestions out there on how to pick a good color palette. For example, using the infamous color wheel, we can use warm colors, cool colors, complementary, split complementary, monochromatic, analogous, triadic, or tetratriadic. These color combinations are safe to use if you're not sure what colors to go for. Other things that you can do can be using websites like colors.co to generate good color schemes, or going on Pinterest to create a mood board of colors that you find on the site that inspire you. Now, what I personally do when finding colors is by sticking to a specific rule: saturation and brightness. You never want to choose highly saturated colors for your character. It just really hurts your eyes and it looks awful. Also, you don't want to have all of your colors be super dark or super light, as it creates similar problems. So find a good balance of all three of these. Choose a couple of saturated colors as your main color to really make your character pop, and then choose a range of neutral colors to dim things down a notch and create balance. The best character designs will have a range of strong and supporting neutral colors working together to help depict your character. Some characters are colored according to their personality, while others are based more on their identity or job status. Try to study color theory and learn from other YouTubers how to pick a good color palette scheme. The next thing you'll need for a good character design is a good costume. Now, good costumes, like good colors, is also very subjective. There are some characters out there who live in these fantastical worlds and therefore need a unique look. Then there are characters who live and breathe in the real world, so they need something that looks more plain and familiar. Are either of these costume designs bad? Of course not. Characters need the right kind of clothing to match the kind of world that they live in, but what makes them stand out from their peers will be in the way that they choose to dress. Emphasis on the word choose. Take these two for example. They are wearing the same exact clothes, but as you can see, they have different personalities. For the character who looks more uptight and rigid, we might want to button up his shirt all the way and keep his suit clean, tidy, and untouched. For the character who seems more carefree and relaxed, he might want his shirt unbuttoned, his sleeves rolled back, and his pants loosened up a bit. Based on the character's personality, interests, and needs, you will want to design them accordingly. Some characters need functionality, while others will want to look fashionable. The decision will be up to you, but do your best to give them a costume that looks unique in some way. Another important element that a good character design should have is that it should contrast other characters. This one is more of a big pet peeve of mine that I think is so important that it needs an official endorsement. If you have more than one character in your story, your character should look different from other characters. Have you ever heard of the same face syndrome? Yeah, it's pretty scary, and many artists don't even know that they have it, which is why you should check yourself with a few friends. But there are artists out there who think the otherwise. Hey bro, I noticed that all your characters kinda look the same. Do you have anyone who looks different? Nah bro, it's just my art style. They're all supposed to look like that. Look, I'm all for art style, but don't use it as an excuse to avoid critique. Come on now. Don't ignore the advice. If someone notices that something could actually be improved, sit that booty down, be humble, and listen. Anyway, now that I got that out of my system, circling back to that same face syndrome, I can't tell you how many times I've seen the same looking faces in different anime shows specifically. It's literally an epidemic of same face syndrome, and we don't even know why. That's why you should do your best to come up with characters who all look different from each other. Different head shapes, different body shapes, facial features. We need to see some diversity in your character designs. So if you have a comic book or a novel, come up with a range of different looking characters, because it's going to make your character designs look 100% better. The last most important element to have a great character design is exaggeration. However, I would argue that this is really only good for artists who are going for a more cartoony look. If you want to have a more realistic style or use actual people, exaggeration is just going to look weird. See what I mean? Exaggeration should really only be used for things like anime, cartoons, or styles where realism and cartoony is blended together. Now when it comes to application, examples of exaggeration can be seen in caricatures. There we go. Where artists take the strongest or most prominent features of someone's face and expand upon it. This is the same process for cartoon creation. Artists exaggerate certain aspects of a character, whether it be their face, body, costume, or weapon, to achieve a certain look. You could even form a character's design based on their personality by using shapes. Round shapes imply happy, gentle, well-rounded characters, squares imply stable and strong personalities, and triangles invoke a sense of edginess and danger. So in short, I would definitely recommend to play around with exaggeration to see if you can achieve more interesting looks, because it could really help your character stand out. But character design at the end of the day is a fun process that will help in creating your story and character. And if you do your best to come up with good designs, it's going to make your series so much better in the long run. If you're interested to learn more about creating good characters and storytelling, you can check out my other videos. But I'll see you guys again soon with another video, so take care for now. Bye!